saw two pairs of hands so much alike in all my life. And then your agitation made me risk the guess. What's that, Inspector? How was the murder committed, and what did this little rattler have to do with it?" "Well, quite simple. The snake was put in the safe with the notes, and a trail of aniseed of which snakes are very fond, you know laid from there to the foot of old Simmons. The safe door was left ajar, though in the half dusk the old man certainly never noticed it. I found all this out from those few words of Wilson's about the rope, and from his having heard a reed-like sound. I had to do some hard thinking, I can tell you. When I went downstairs again, Mr. Narkom, after my magnifying glass, I turned down poor Simmons' sock, and found the mark I expected. The snake had crawled up his leg and struck home. Why did I suspect Mr. Brent? Well, it was obvious almost from the very first, for he was so anxious to throw suspicion upon Mr. Barrington here, and Wilson, with Patterson thrown in for good measure. Then again it was certain that no one else would have been allowed into the vault by Simmons, much less to go to the safe itself and open it with the keys. That he did go to the safe was apparent by the fingerprints upon it, and as they too smelt of aniseed, the whole thing began to look decidedly funny. The trail of aniseed led straight up to where Simmons lay, so I can only suppose that after Brent released the snake, the trail of course having been laid beforehand when he was alone, Brent must have stood and waited until he saw it actually strike, and... How do I know that, Mr. Wilson? Well, he smoked a cigarette there anyhow. The stub I found bore the same name as those in his box, and it was smoked identically the same way as a couple which lay in his ashtray. I could only conclude that he was waiting for something to happen, and as the snake struck, he grabbed up the bundle of notes, quite forgetting to close the safe door, and rushed out of the vault. Ramagee was in the corridor outside, and probably whistled the snake back through the ventilating holes near the floor, instead of venturing near the body himself. You remember you heard the sound of that pipe, Mr. Wilson? Ramagee probably made his escape while the inspector was upstairs. Unfortunately for him, he ran right into Mr. George Barrington here, and when, as he tells me, he later told Brent about seeing Ramagee, well, the whole thing became as plain as a pikestaff." "Yes," put in George Barrington excitedly, taking up the tale in his weak, rather silly voice. "My stepfather refused to believe me, and gave me £20 in notes to go away. I suppose he didn't notice they were some of the stolen ones. I changed one of them at the bank this morning, but I had no idea how important they were until I knocked into Mr. Cleek here, and he made me come along with him." Mr. Narkom looked at Cleek, and Cleek looked at Mr. Narkom, and the blank wonder in the superintendent's eyes caused him to smile. "Another feather in the cap of foolish old Scotland Yard, isn't it?" he said. "Time we made tracks, I think. Coming our way, Mr. Wilson? We'll see you back home if you like. You're too upset to go on alone. Good afternoon, Inspector, and good-bye. I'll leave the case with you. It's safe enough in your hands, but if you take my tip, you'll put that human beast in as tight a lock-up as the station affords." Then he linked one arm in Mr. Narkom's, and the other arm in that of the admiring and wholly speechless Wilson, and went out into the sunshine. End of The Rope of Fear.